Why you've never heard a baby cry after midnight. You've probably never thought about it. But think, really think. When was the last time you heard a baby crying in the dead of night? Not your own, not on a monitor, out in the world. Through your apartment wall. In the next house. In a distant hallway. You remember it from movies, you remember it from childhood. But now, nothing, it's not a coincidence. It's the result of the silence protocol. Let me explain. Back in 2003, the Department of Defense funded a black-budget operation called Project ARKOS. It was part of DARPA's Human Behavior Research Initiatives. Officially, it was about sleep patterns and neural development in newborns. But in reality, it had one goal: to identify and neutralize the frequency that attracts them. The project started after a bizarre incident in a small New Hampshire town in 1999. 6 newborns vanished over the course of 2 nights. No broken windows. No signs of forced entry. Security cameras showed static. The only thing connecting the families was that all the infants had been reported crying uncontrollably in the hours before they disappeared. The local police couldn't explain it. The FBI stepped in, then quickly pulled out. Witnesses began recanting their stories. News outlets dropped the story within a week, but ARKOS kept digging. They discovered a chilling pattern. Every 19 years, across scattered areas of the globe, clusters of newborns disappear, always in 3s, 6s, or 9s. Always during high solar flare activity. And always preceded by intense, inconsolable crying. The cries, it turns out, aren't random. They're not signs of discomfort. They're responses to something trying to come through. The scientists called it the infrasound gate theory. Certain frequencies emitted by newborns, when crying at just the right pitch under specific geomagnetic conditions, could open something. Not a literal doorway, but more like a thinning of reality. A breach. And when it opens, something notices. Something that isn't supposed to exist. The ARKOS team believed these entities were not from space, but from below the noise floor of reality, what we might call the basement of existence. Beings made of information, not matter. They don't travel in ships, they travel in resonance, and they listen for specific frequencies, like a mother hearing her baby cry. The solution? The silence protocol. In 2005, a global satellite network called Lyra went live. Under the guise of weather monitoring, its real job was far more sinister. Lyra scans the atmosphere in real time for infant crying patterns and deploys counter-frequencies, subaudible sound waves that suppress the specific pitch range that draws them. Hospitals are fitted with Lyra nodes. So are smart baby monitors. If your baby cries too loud, too long, or in the wrong pitch, Lyra stops it. If it can't, the child is flagged. That's where Division 6 comes in. Officially, it doesn't exist. Unofficially. It's composed of ex-special forces, former child services agents, and people who aren't really people anymore. If your child is flagged, Division 6 visits your home. They come in unmarked vans. They carry no weapons. They don't need them. They have frequency displacers. You never hear them come in. You might wake up at 3:17 a.m. and think you heard a whisper. Just a whisper. By 3:19, your baby is gone. And all you're left with is a strange humming in your walls for a few days, and a story that no one will believe. Now here's the kicker. You've seen the videos, haven't you? The ones that go viral for a day, then disappear. Baby monitors glitching. Infants staring into the corner of the room, silent. Mouth open, eyes wide. And sometimes you hear a sound on those clips. Not the baby, but something else answering. They're not ghosts. They're not demons. They're listeners. They're what come when the silence protocol fails. Now you know why baby formula is so heavily regulated. Why every baby monitor now requires cloud connectivity. Why pediatricians strongly discourage co-sleeping. They don't want you to be there when the crying starts. Not because they care about you, but because if you try to intervene during a breach, they take you too. So next time you wake up in the middle of the night and there's silence outside, unnatural silence, ask yourself, is it peaceful? Or is it because something is listening, waiting for one wrong sound? And if you hear a baby cry at 3:16 a.m., don't go check. It's already too late.
want you to remember. The forgotten victims of MKUltra. There are people walking around today, in your city, your neighborhood, who have no idea who they really are. No idea what was done to them. They think they just lost their minds for a while, had a breakdown, went off the deep end. But the truth, they were rewired. Back in the days when America still wore a clean face and the government pretended to be your best friend, there was a secret war going on, not overseas, but inside your mind. No one talked about it. No one could talk about it, because those who tried didn't stay around long. They called it MKUltra. Sounds like science fiction, right? Here's what they did. They took regular people, young women, college kids, soldiers, patients in psych wards, even people who just needed a doctor. And they fed them drugs, broke their minds open like eggshells, and started rebuilding them from scratch. They used LSD, but not for fun, not for music festivals. This was weaponized. People were kept awake for days, lights flashing, repeating audio loops of the same phrase over and over until the mind cracked. You don't exist. You don't exist. You don't exist. Some were put in sensory deprivation tanks and left for hours, sometimes days. Imagine floating in pitch black nothing, no sense of up or down, no sound, no time, no body, just a whisper in your ear. You belong to us now. There was a woman. Let's call her KK, was a college student, bright, normal, social. She volunteered for a study to help science understand the mind. Next thing she knows, she wakes up in a locked room, no memory of how she got there. Men in suits, sunglasses, a doctor telling her she's being recalibrated. They gave her LSD for 42 days straight. No food, no contact, just drugs, loops, isolation. When she came out, she had a new name, a new accent. She was convinced she was born in a different country. She didn't even recognize her own mother. And just like that, she was released back into the world. Now multiply K by 1,000, maybe 10,000. They were creating blank slates, hoping to turn people into puppets, killers, spies, handlers. The idea was, wipe the mind, install commands, then let them live a normal life until a trigger word brought it all back. Snap your fingers. Say the phrase. And someone who's been living as a kindergarten teacher for 12 years suddenly walks into a crowded train station and pulls the trigger with no idea why. Some say MKUltra was shut down. But come on, does this sound like the kind of thing you just walk away from? They didn't end it. They rebranded it. Now it's enhanced interrogation. Now it's behavioral nudging through your For You page. Now it's social media platforms pushing exactly what messes with your emotions at the perfect time. And the people still walking around with broken minds, they're just called schizophrenic, bipolar, unstable. But what if they aren't broken? What if they're programmed and just waiting for the switch to flip? The most terrifying part of MKUltra isn't what was done. It's the silence afterward. The ones who know what happened either don't talk or can't, and the ones still walking among us. They don't remember what they did. They don't remember who they are, but someone does, and they're still watching.
The disappearance of the SS Orang Medan, the ghost ship of death. Picture this, it's 1947. The sea is calm. A U.S. merchant ship is cruising through the Strait of Malacca, near Indonesia. Then suddenly, a strange message crackles over the radio. A distress call. Panicked. Broken. Eerie. All officers, including the captain, are dead. Lying in chart room and bridge. Possibly whole crew dead. Then nothing for a moment. Static. Silence. Then one final message. I die. That was it. The signal went dead. Another nearby ship picks up the call and races toward the coordinates. They find the SS Orang Medan, a Dutch freighter, drifting aimlessly in the water. They board it. What they find feels impossible. The entire crew is dead. Their eyes wide open, their mouths twisted in silent screams, arms frozen in defensive positions, as if they were trying to fight something off. Even the ship's dog is found dead, mid-snarl, teeth bared at nothing. But the strangest part? There's no visible injuries. No blood. No wounds. No fire. No signs of poison. And yet, every single person is dead. Then things get even creepier. As the rescuers decide to tow the ship back to port, a sudden fire erupts in the cargo hold. Out of nowhere. No source. No explanation. The fire spreads fast, and they're forced to abandon ship. Moments later, the Orang Medan explodes, and sinks beneath the waves, taking every secret with it. Theories. Wild ones? Since then, the story of the Orang Medan has become the stuff of nightmares. And nobody can agree on what really happened. Some say it was a secret chemical weapons transport gone wrong, maybe cyanide or nerve gas leaked, causing the crew to die in agony. Others claim it was paranormal, that the ship entered some kind of cursed or anomalous area. A place where reality bends. There are whispers about government experiments, or even an encounter with something not of this world, a weapon, a presence, something no human was supposed to witness. And the weirdest detail? No official record of the Orang Medan exists in maritime logs. No registration. No documented owner. No confirmed cargo manifest. It's like the ship never existed. And yet, dozens of sailors heard the distress call. Multiple ships reported the incident. Rescue crews told the same chilling story. So what was it? Something was on that ship. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Something happened out there. Something dark. And the evidence, the crew, the logs, the ship, was erased in a blink. Was it an experiment gone wrong? A government op that needed to be covered up? A supernatural encounter that had to be buried? Or was it something deeper, a glitch in the world? A tear in the thin film of reality where something else slipped through? No one knows. And those who might? They'd kept their mouths shut for over 75 years.